Okay, so what if the letters you write with aren't just symbols for sound, but a fundamental code for reality itself? In this explainer, we're diving into a really fascinating and honestly incredibly ambitious theory that tries to build a bridge between ancient spirituality, modern science, and the very alphabet we use to communicate.
The source material we're looking at today really just jumps right in with this massive, provocative question. What if a single script wasn't just for writing, but was a fundamental code for, well, everything? It's a huge premise, and it's absolutely key to understanding the entire system we're about to break down together.
At the heart of this whole thing is a concept the source calls EK Gurmukhi. The idea being presented is that the Gurmukhi script, which is mainly used in the Punjabi language, is way more than just an alphabet. In this framework, it's totally reimagined as this universal system based on vibration, like a master key designed to connect everything from ancient mysticism to quantum physics.
So, how do you even begin to wrap your head around an idea this big? Well, the source doesn't pull any punches. It presents this as nothing less than a theory of everything, a single, unified framework for understanding, well, the world. So this is the crucial point. The vision here is to basically dissolve the boundaries between fields that seem totally opposite. The proposal aims to connect the dots between ancient traditions and cutting-edge scientific theories, suggesting they're all just different dialects of the same underlying vibrational language. Okay, so that's the grand vision. But the obvious question is, how, right? How could an alphabet possibly do all of this? According to the source, the answer is all about the physics of sound and vibration. The scientific concept propping up this entire theory is cymatics. Now, cymatics is a real field of study. It shows how sound vibrations can organize particles into these beautiful, really complex patterns. What the source material does is take this observable fact and just scale it up dramatically. It proposes that this isn't just a neat little phenomenon, but a fundamental mechanism of creation itself.
So here's how the process is supposed to work, broken down into 3 steps. First, you speak a letter from the EK Gurmukhi alphabet. That's the phonetics part. Second, that sound creates a specific, unique vibrational frequency. And third, this is the big leap, that vibration, using the principles of cymatics, directly organizes and influences physical matter. In other words, the spoken word literally shapes reality. Now, to give this theory a more mathematical feel, the source repeatedly uses this equation, E equals O+iA. Let's be clear, this isn't a standard physics equation you'd find in a textbook. It's more of a symbolic formula. It's meant to show how these fundamental forces, as the theory sees them, all play together. Light, that's O, sound, A, and the point of vibration, I, that connects them. It's an attempt to kind of codify that bridge between what we see and what we don't. So we've got this grand abstract theory. But what would it actually look like in practice? Well, the source proposes a pretty radical new model for education, which it calls a multiversity built on 100 distinct streams of knowledge. And this number, 100, it's totally central to the whole practical vision here. The proposal outlines 100 specialized dominions or universities, each one dedicated to a different facet of this unified knowledge. The idea is they all form one global educational system. And this table right here does a great job of showing the 4 main pillars of this multiversity. You've got the Nirmala stream, which is all about pure phonetics, the physical science of sound. Then there's Damdami, which dives into phonemics, the actual meaning baked into those sounds. The Nihang stream studies allophonic variations. You can think of it like regional accents or tiny differences in pronunciation. And finally, you have Matra, which is all about cymatics, the physical shape that sound creates. But how would you actually teach someone to speak with that kind of precision? The source points to a traditional method called Santhia. In this context, it's not just about learning a language. It's a deep practice for mastering the exact pronunciation you need to generate a specific, intended vibration. The idea here is that how you say something is every bit as important as what you say. Now, the ambition of this proposal doesn't stop at education. Not even close. The ultimate goal is to use this vibrational framework to reorganize and unify pretty much every aspect of modern science and society. And just look at the sheer scope of this. I mean, wow. The EK Gurmukhi system is proposed as a kind of foundational layer to unify almost everything. For instance, it aims to bridge the gap between Western medicine and traditional medicine like Ayurveda by suggesting they're both just manipulating the body's vibrational state in different ways. It even tries to connect really speculative stuff like 5D DNA and new fifth force theories, framing them all as different manifestations of this one underlying vibrational code.
And it doesn't just stop at science. The ambition extends into the very structure of our society. The source suggests this framework could reshape something like intellectual property, or even inspire a new kind of social media it calls Flip Facebook, which I guess would be a platform based on this universal vibrational worldview. The goal is to create systems that are naturally in tune with this core principle, from decentralized tech like blockchain all the way up to global governance.
So, as we start to wrap up our journey through this pretty wild theory, what's the core argument? What's the fundamental shift that this EK Gurmukhi proposal is really pushing for? This slide really boils it down nicely. The proposal argues that our current way of thinking is fragmented, right? It's built on separate scientific fields that all rely on constant systems. Fixed numbers like the speed of light. It suggests we need to shift to a unified paradigm based on variable systems, where the properties of reality can actually be influenced and changed by vibration. It's a move from a static, disconnected model to one that's dynamic, integrated, and can handle both decentralized and centralized structures. In the end, it all comes back to this one powerful statement from the source itself. The entire super complex system is designed with one goal in mind: to use a theory of vibrational elements to finally connect the wisdom of the past with the knowledge of right now.
It's a massive, mind-bending concept, isn't it? Tying together everything from linguistics to blockchain to metaphysics, and it leaves us with a really fascinating question to think about. In our search for the next big breakthrough, should we only be looking forward? Or is it possible that the deepest answers have been waiting in ancient systems all along?